All right, so we're gonna start on page 68 and talk about self-confidence today. Would anybody like to read that paragraph that we have before our writing?
Self-confidence?
Yes.
We are not born with self-confidence. We learn to develop self-confidence from our reactions with other people. In other words, self-confidence can be learned and unlearned. The following activities can help you develop greater self-confidence in your personal and professional life. You gonna keep on going?
Sure.
Okay. Role models. Think about the people you know who appear to have self-confidence. In the left-hand column of the table below, there's 3 people who, by your observation and by their mannerism, could be role models of self-confidence. These people may be dead or alive, famous people in history or people in your life now. In the middle column lists what you think might have helped them to be self-confident, and the third column describe how they act.
Okay. So this goes into the next page. Once we fill out this page, then we're gonna make comparisons. One way you can develop greater self-confidence is by not comparing yourself negatively with other people. The first step in doing so is to identify those people with whom you typically compare yourself. In the table that follows, identify the people with whom you compare yourself, how you compare yourself, and something positive about yourself. So let's work on those 2 pages.
The first one is 3 people who we feel are good
Who have-
model self-confidence.
Right, who have good self-confidence. And then the next one is more about us. Let's start sharing then. Okay, does anybody want to talk about their role models? They wrote down what they,
Okay.
thanks John.
My role models. First one I had was Howard Hughes, and because I chose him because whatever was a challenge for him to grade, he did it, and how they act, he acted smart. Another role model was Michael Jordan, and that's because he stood against every basketball player and outplayed them. Outplayed all of them, and how he acted great. The last one role model was Lucille Ball, and I liked her because she was a very hard-working actress who worked harder than the actors, men or women, put it
Right.
that way. And she stood for excellence.
Yes.
And I said how she acted strong.
Yeah, that's a good one, thank you. Joe, do you want to share?
Sure. There's this one person I know, Mr. Bechtold, and what made him confident is he was a salesman for Hewlett-Packard, had a lot of trouble with eyesight initially when he went to school, and he had to do just a ton of different things to try to take care of that going through college. He's a good listener, often listens to what people have to say and shares his ideas, and does a lot of talk at meetings that I go to.
Nice.
He takes things out on and seems to have a penchant for figuring out complex problems. So
That's really good.
yeah. And then I thought Chris here, in a way, part of the reason, I don't know exactly, but willing to delegate authority and has good people working for him, and he seems to be open to other people's input and letting them just kind of run with it at times, and that's good.
Right.
How he does it, he gives talks and really fulfills his role in being in charge, and he's willing to expand his horizons, I think, and listen to other people.
Yeah.
And then there's this one lady, who goes to the church I go to. Her name is Robin. She's a teacher, and I think that helps make her confident. She's had trouble, I think, in relationships with the past, perhaps. She probably, one of the other things, again, is she has a good support base. She's open to new ideas and likes to share her new ideas. She's good at listening and sharing her experiences and gives talks on the stuff she's interested in. All of them have in common, they have a good support base, though. I mean, these people all seem to have a really, Chris appears to me like he's got a good support base. I don't know for sure, but the other two
Right.
pretty much do, and I think that really is major. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you can be more confident if you have more of a support base, but anyway.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah. So, and actually, I chose Chris also, and what made him confident is, I'm not sure what makes him so confident. I would guess that his upbringing had something to do with it. I like your idea that he has a support system, because I'm sure that helps a lot too. How he acted, he does his job, he's friendly and confident in many different settings and areas. And then I chose my brother, Stephen, and I think he had a good childhood, but during his adolescence, he was very challenged by my father. And I think he took it as a challenge and decided that he was going to make something of himself. And so he's become his own boss, and he became a pharmacist, and he owns his own business. So those are the two I had. Comparisons. So I tend to compare myself to my brothers and sisters, and like I said, I have several siblings that own their own business, and they all have children and grandchildren. And what I have going for me instead is that I'm in recovery and have good relationships with my family. The other people that I tend to compare myself with are my friends, and I look at them because I see that they have careers and families and houses, and what I have going for me is that I'm exploring going back to school, and I get positive feedback from my bosses. So that's where I build my self-confidence. Does anybody want to share that page at all, the comparisons?
Okay. I compared myself to one of the persons who inspired, Howard Hughes, not because he was filthy rich. I'm not filthy, well, not in my bank account on earth, but maybe one of the other planets might get me some code or something. But anyway, that's because he liked to create things, and I like to create things. And as far as what I have going for me, and that's not negative, I always believe that I always have life to look forward to anyway. You know, today,
Right.
tomorrow, no matter what, Corona, whatever, I'm still going to look forward for life, and I'm not ever going to turn around.
Right.
Okay, another person I compare myself to is Richard Pryor, because sometimes I can tell, just go out crazy funny, just start, telling jokes all day, and that's because I'm funny. I compare myself to Einstein too, because I like to go really deep, mind and intelligence. So I like Einstein,
That's great.
and that's because I was smart. I am smart. And the other person I compare myself to is my mother, because she has a really good heart. You can't stop her from trying to help people. Now, I ain't gonna try to help people, but I have a good heart too.
Right.
And I try to use that. And what I have going for me about that is I'm my mother's son, so
Yes.
yeah, it's gonna be passed on to me no matter what.
Right. That's great, thank you.
I didn't get that part done, but I do compare myself to the one guy, Michael Bechtold, and other people who appear very confident. Typically, I think I compare myself to people who are very popular, you know, thinking, well, I don't feel, no, I feel like I get along well with a lot of people here, but out in the regular world, I don't feel that liked. And there's some reasons why people don't like me, I understand that. We all have reasons why we don't like people, but I compare myself to my brothers and sisters who've had these very long-term jobs, you know, for major corporations or organizations, and other people who seem to have done a lot. And I like to create things too, like you were saying, John, but I guess, yeah, so I do that, and
So we're looking for what do you have going for you? And
well,
you've got the creativity part.
sometimes I'm a pretty good listener and open-minded about new ideas, people, places, and situations, I think, but and I have some resources, you know, to make it work, not just my own resources, but community resources, and I'm, although you know, many times I just kind of just want to throw it all away, but I still hang in here, so that's
Good.
You said people don't like you. Do you get in conflict with people who don't like you?
Well, I have a little bit of social anxiety, and my mental illness I let get the better of me sometimes, and I tend to create stories about why people are doing stuff, sometimes without having enough information, and get a little reactive sometimes.
Okay.
So there's been a few times where I've made maybe a little bit of a public spectacle of myself because I was pissed about what I thought was going on, but I didn't know for sure.
Did you get into a fight, did you?
Nah.
Well, yeah.
Got close to that, but I just thought, no, God, I didn't realize I was that wrong, man. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I just have to, but like somebody helped me here, they were saying they thought one of the reasons why I might be so upset at times is because I wasn't working on as many of the creative ideas or artistic projects that I wanted to do, and so I started doing more of that, and
Does that help you manage your anger?
yeah, it helps me manage my anger, and the other thing is just learning to just accept that I have that part of me who's pretty angry and wants to make stories, and not let it blow me away. You know what I mean? It just
Yeah.
is what it is, and until I get to the other side of why I'm that way, I will probably have that tendency out there, and I think it's getting better, but it's just,
Yeah.
I think awareness is the first
Yeah, because
first
you're thinking
step.
about, you know, some people who don't start to think about it, when they let go, they kill people. Like, boom, and it's all, the streets are like that. And most people who I think shoot people, they probably didn't care. They don't think about stopping and not shooting somebody.
Right.
So to think about all that, your anger and all that, that's better than just going out and shooting somebody.
Right.
yeah, I mean.
Exactly.
But one of the other things that helps with that is like when there's stuff where obviously it's very obvious people are doing stuff to get on my nerves. If I can take care of myself by managing the situation, an example is the postal delivery stuff that I've dealt with for years there, and finally, I don't think they're going to be doing too much more of it at that post office. And it wasn't just me, it's like a lot of different people. So that now they're like, now I'm noticing the mail delivery is going really smooth.
Good.
But so just stepping up and taking care of myself, whereas I was more afraid to do that in the past. I mean, I can remember getting stolen from at work and I didn't know who, and even the boss was like, can you want to report that? And I'm like, well, no, I'm not sure I want to because I'm going to be working here and I'm worried about retaliation. So,
Yeah.
But anyway, anyway, I'm talking a lot about it, but just taking care of myself, doing what I can to do that without, getting in a fight, but just letting people I know, how I that are doing stuff that, to let them know how I feel is very important, and feeling comfortable enough to do that.
Right.
And not have to just drop where I'm going or feel like, oh God.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's important.
yeah, that's a big skill to have, because, I don't want to be, part of me does, but I don't want to be raising hell at a place that I enjoy and, then having people say, oh God, here he is.
Right.
And that's not my problem. If I'm taking care of myself and I'm letting people know how I feel, as long as I'm not cursing at them or pushing them, and I'm doing it, in an acceptable manner, I can't worry about it, but I really can't worry about it.
Right.
But in the past, I was just kind of like, let it simmer, and,
Yeah, that can be bad.
yeah, it's not good, but anyway.
Well, I'm glad that you're learning some skills to deal with it.
Yeah.
And art is an excellent outlet, I find,
Yeah.
to just kind of take your mind away from all of that.
Yeah, it's just, it gets scary for me sometimes how strongly I feel. I'm like, God, I gotta go. The other thing that helps is exercise, so
Yeah,
if I don't do that fairly often,
yeah, that's always a good outlet. Definitely. Okay, well, let's continue on, talking about, it looks like we're gonna be talking about our successes. Remember your successes from the past. Success breeds increased sense of self and self-esteem. In the table that follows, draw pictures or write about your great successes in the various aspects of your life. Feel free to use blank sheets of paper to continue with more successes. I didn't bring any extra paper, but I can get some if you guys need some.
No, I can draw something. I'll make a little box over here.
Okay, and then
I'm fine.
page 71 also, taking calculated risks. Self-confident people are able to take careful and calculated risks that bring them greater success, happiness, and achievement. So it basically breaks down when have we taken calculated risks in the past, and then also when have we not taken steps that we may have led to greater self-esteem. Also, what job or volunteer risks have you taken in the past, or have not taken in the past? And it continues on page 72 to a table of what can we do currently and how it can lead to success. So let's work on those 3 pages, and that'll probably take us until the end of the class, and we'll share next week.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.